Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Raise a glass to freedom.
Oh,
you know
my
what I mean? Oh my god.
Goodbye.
Man, you remember that time? Remember when all I could do was just quote Hamilton?
Yeah, we were all bad people then.
Yeah, that was an embarrassing time.
Yeah.
Oh. So glad that I didn't end up getting Hamilton.
Yes! Yeah, it was so likely, you know? Like, it was so, like, in the realm of possibility. Knowing you
yikes.
and your history.
Yeah, and my herstory,
your...
you know what I mean? It's like... Oh, yikes.
That was the worst thing you've ever done.
I just feel like the people that would have gotten... There's a Venn diagram, you know,
yeah.
of, like, people that got Hamilton tattoos and people that say herstory. Yeah. It, like, there's a circle in there.
Yeah, and they got, like, a tote bag that says, nevertheless, she persisted.
Oh, my God. And, oh, God. Like, they also got, like, nasty woman tattoo. Yep. Oh, yeah. God. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, bad year for culture. Bad year.
Anyway, welcome to Into Twilight, our coping mechanism for 2016.
Hey-o.
Like, literally.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, it happened to us, you know? So we get
You're welcome.
Yeah, welcome to Into Twilight, where this podcast becomes more and more off the rails every week.
So unhinged.
More chaotic every week.
It's honestly impressive, because you think, oh, there's no way they can do anything more than this, and here we are.
You'd think, like, oh, this is a study on toxic masculinity. Right. It would be a pretty narrow focus at that point, right? And yet... I described one of my classes today as the vine of that kid screaming while, like, throwing a basketball on his head. And that is sometimes how this podcast feels to me. It's just, like, completely unhinged.
Yeah.
And just off the rails.
You know, sometimes you think, oh, there's no way this podcast can get more unhinged than making an episode titled Coochie for Your Woes. And yet... we keep going. We keep doing this.
At some point, we should actually have, like, a quiz. We should have a quiz. And I think if I'm not mistaken, we've done this before. But, like, yeah. But we should do a quiz. Someone should make a quiz. I need to stop saying I'm stuck in a time loop.
We need a quiz of a quiz. We need to do a quiz.
But we need to have a quiz where it's like, did we say this or did a bot say this?
Right.
Because, like, I honestly, if you had said, like, did we say that or was that made up, I would not have said that, like, that was a podcast title of ours.
If we have listeners who are smarter than us, which is incredibly likely, almost 100% likely, and can make, like, a generator, a random episode title generator based on all of our title episodes, I would just, like...
Holy shit.
Cut off a limb or something for you, because that would be amazing.
What we should do, to cope, since I know a lot of the people that listen to us also listened to Coffee with Rachel, which will be done by the time that this is over, which R. I'm so sorry.
Pour one out.
In order to cope with that, what someone who is smarter than I am should do is do a quiz of, like, is this a Coffee with Rachel title or is this an Into the Twilight title?
Yeah, because really there's, like, a solid Venn diagram there.
Because they're both completely unhinged.
Absolutely.
And I feel like with a lot of them, I would have no fucking clue which one was which. Especially, like, when you go deep into the archives.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, I used to, like, run by the episode titles by Allie, and now I just kind of go for it.
Oh, well, and it's like,
Yeah.
like, which ones I choose at this point. Yeah, especially because, like, and we've talked about this so many times, as soon as, and this, I'll just take you all behind the bit for a second about how Cody and I record, like, as soon as we get done recording, Cody and I, like, riff for a second. I'm like, lol, I'm uploading. I can't believe we're on this number, lol. I say, like, this will be up in 2 minutes. We riff for, like, 2 seconds. Then we both say, bye! And then we're done talking for a week and come back together. And I, at that point, dump my brain. And because I, at that point, have been... Well, because at that point, it's like 9 o'clock at my time. Yeah. I've been up since 4:30. Right. I have no idea what I just said. And it's like, so, like, when Cody's editing this, I don't know. I don't know what I said. It's like, you could have just said, like, is it Totino's ball sack or JC, my best friend, ate a dog shit? It's like, I don't know. And it's like, I trust you. Whatever you think is gonna, like, get someone's attention to listen to the episode.
First of all,
I don't know.
Put some respect on JC and my home dog in the sky's name, because that was the best episode title I've ever come up with.
It was very good. And when we ended up doing the quiz on it, I was like, wait a second, is that a reference to Jesus? Like, I couldn't even remember.
I was so detached. Yeah.
It was, I could not even remember.
We'll never know what that episode was about.
Anyways, Cody, how the fuck are you doing?
I'm jazzed, baby.
Great.
It's
good to hear.
It's almost light jacket season, and I'm just pretending that it fully is light jacket season and just sweating a little bit in my light jackets.
Yes, I hear that.
Which is how that's how I process denial.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that.
How are you, my guy?
Well, it's been a week. I don't know about you, but I was a little bit too seen earlier this week. Now I'm back to my normal space. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little too obsessed with Untitled Goose Game right now.
Sorry, what?
Sorry. Do you not know what Untitled Goose Game is, Cody?
You are saying a string of words that make no sense in relation to one another, and saying it again will not make me understand. There are no context clues in that sentence that you just said. Okay, no, fuck you, first of all, because I know that you're on Twitter all the time. Yeah.
So,
we can have different Twitter spheres. That's how...
No, that's
in
bullshit.
The situation we're in right now.
No, that's fake. I don't believe that.
What do you mean?
First of all,
we're not all in the same Twitter.
That doesn't. That's fake.
This whole episode is me explaining algorithms to Allie.
That's fake. I don't believe. I'm so frustrated. I don't even know how to type.
Al Gore's internet would do that to me.
Well, okay. If you broke me, first of all. Okay, so one, let me explain really quick what Untitled Goose Game is.
Please, I'm so intrigued.
So it's one, I mean, you know I don't like birds, so
a hard sell to begin with.
It's definitely a hard sell. It's a game. Are you with me so far? Okay. It was released like 5 days ago, so you're not too behind on the culture. Okay. And it came out on like several different platforms, but most people I know are playing it on the Switch. But it's a puzzle game, and you essentially control a goose, and your job is to be a menace to humans.
That's great.
And that's your whole job, is just to be an absolute asshole.
Sure.
And to bother people.
Yeah.
In a variety of different ways.
Sure.
like the actual like log line of it is it's a lovely morning in the village and you were a horrible goose. Like that's it. It's So I've just been watching Chris play Untitled Goose Game because it's a puzzle game and I don't do puzzles, but I do like watching puzzle games.
Sure.
And it's just confirming a lot of things for me about birds.
That are menaces, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's just, for me, it's like, yes, that's exactly what I thought about birds. They're untrustworthy. But I do like watching it, for sure.
Yeah. First of all,
so now,
not Spawn.
welcome to culture.
Not Spawn.
Oh, no.
I should get into
But I can be bought.
I can be bought, first of all. First and foremost, first rule of this podcast, we can be bought. But that's something I would be into, as someone who loves puzzles, and someone who identifies as a horrible goose.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'm surprised you don't know what this is.
I'm sorry.
Because, one, you are a puzzle. And you are a horrible goose.
I am a book of Sudoku.
Exactly.
That's me.
Exactly. Like, you are an Enneagram 5, which is, in itself, a horrible puzzle goose.
Listen, we're going off the rails again in the beginning of this episode.
This whole podcast is off the rails. Welcome to the show.
But truly, my goal at the moment is to just be really good at Sudoku.
That's fair. I've never played Sudoku. That is not... honest to God, I tried to download it once because I was like, I'm going to be that person. And I stared at it and it brought me back. Like, it legitimately gave me war flashbacks to being in, like, a middle school math state test where I was like, I'm inadequate. I need my math, like, TI fucking 83 calculator. And I was like, I was legit getting, like, palm sweats. Where I was like, I need to, like, figure out how to cheat this thing. And I was like, it's just a free app. I can just delete this thing.
This doesn't have to be me. I don't have to do this. Yeah,
it was stressing me out. Those are not the kind of puzzles that I fuck with. I'm more of a, like, and I don't even know if these are technically considered puzzles, but I'm more of a, like, match 3, like a Candy Crush kind of puzzle person.
Sure.
Which I think are very loosely puzzles. Right. Like, those are more, like, addictive games.
I'm just looking at colors and sparkles.
But, like, I like to match things more as a puzzle. Yeah. That's who I am.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's a respectable trait.
When I wake up from a night terror, am I right, fellas? When I wake up from a trauma-induced nightmare and can't sleep, like I did at 3:33 this morning, definitely didn't freak out from that itself.
Am I right, ladies?
Yeah, I definitely woke up this morning at 3:33 and I was like, well, I'm gonna die. Cool. Woke up and I was like, I know that that's the fan across the bed from me, but I think that's also a demon. So I'm fine dying right now.
I'm just gonna play my colorful puzzles. Hope it's okay.
Yeah, I was just like, come at me, witch. Like, I'm fine dying. But yeah, so that's what I play to soothe myself back to sleep.
Yeah.
Anyway, none of this bullshit's about the show,
but isn't it all about the show?
It's always about the show. Anyways, we do have some current events that are actually related loosely about our show, which started out as Twilight a couple years ago, and now we're sucked into this fucking time warp that's you-based.
Now we can't stop talking about puzzles.
Yeah, we're in this wormhole that's you and also puzzles, so... Okay, first thing is, we need to talk about Jonah Hill, which I never thought I'd fucking say on this podcast.
Right. It's a bit of a leap. But welcome to the stage, Jonah Hill.
Welcome to your new home, Jonah. Wait, actually, first of all, pause. Before we get into Jonah Hill, I have more important, more arguably relevant news.
Okay.
And I completely forgot to put this on our agenda, so I apologize.
God.
I know. I'm sorry. More breaking than Jonah Hill.
Damn.
Is, if any of you watch the Emmys, which I know is like dead news by the time that this podcast comes out.
Sure.
But Bill Hader, folks.
Yes.
This is just an open invitation to just put out into the universe.
Yeah.
Bill Hader, hi, first of all.
We see you.
My name's Allie. Nice to meet you. Sorry that you had to listen to fucking 14 minutes of bullshit.
I'm glad you're stuck it through, though.
Hi, do you like Sudoku? First of all, congrats.
Yeah, you deserve it.
On your... Second of all, do you get to choose your walk-up music? I've been told no, but if you do, thank you for choosing Supermassive Black Hole.
Yes. A legend in the vampire community.
Yes. Welcome to your vampire family. It's us.
Yeah.
We are your vampire family.
Sometimes a family is just two hosts of a podcast.
Sometimes that's all the family you need. Okay. Sometimes found family is all that matters. 3, you're always welcome on our podcast.
Literally anytime.
Literally anytime.
Whenever.
Call me up whenever. Whenever. We can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Shoot
whatever.
The shit, Bill.
Yeah. Absolutely. Whatever you want. All I have to say is when I heard Supermassive Black Hole during the Emmys, I lost my shit.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Because, I mean, that was a very powerful Emmys.
Yeah, it was.
But all I have to say is I was like, Bill Hader, you kind of already look like a vampire. You don't need to do this. You're gonna...
But I appreciate that you did.
Yes. It was powerful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Jonah.
Anyway, Jonah, my
Sorry,
other son.
not to upstage Jonah Hill.
No, never. Never. Apples and oranges,
Yeah.
truly. So, here's the thing about this vampire. This vampire news of our Pats that has become this Batman movie. Like, this Batman movie is becoming more wild every single time that it has news.
Yeah.
Like, first we get our Pats, and it's like, great, fantastic.
Yeah.
And now Jonah Hill, who I just associate with being, like, in 7th grade and watching bullshit movies. Right. Like, everything about my middle school experience is being wound together into this Batman movie, but in the wildest way. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, he's supposed to play a villain, too, which I think is interesting.
Absolutely. And I definitely think that he can do it.
Oh, yeah. I think he's definitely grown as an actor over the last few years, and I think this will be very fun.
I mean, to say the least, like, he gives me some super bad vibes, so...
I am scared of Jonah Hill.
Absolutely. So, I think that he can definitely do it.
Yeah, welcome to the fold, Jonah.
Welcome, Mr. Hill. I'm excited.
Allie, it's time for a K-Stew Corner.
I wish you would. I've been waiting for it this whole time.
K-Stew Corner.
Every time that you do that, I imagine that you're saying, stew, 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 stew.
Fuck! Why'd you wait this long to tell me?
I just imagined that that's what you've been saying this whole time, so.
Okay, it's a K-Stew Corner.
There you go.
Thank you. We got 2 pieces of piping hot K-Stew news this week.
Tell me everything.
I'm gonna tell you about one of these, which is from Vogue, and it's very good. Damn. And it's basically about how K-Stew wears the same damn pair of jeans every day of her life.
Iconic.
And it's framed as like a sustainable story, which is great. And the first like graph, they're like, hell yeah. And like fashion and fast fashion is bad for the planet. And we should be, downsizing and thrifting and having sustainable methods of like fashion and stuff like that. And then it's just a photo series of K-Stew wearing this very nice, light wash, ripped pair of jeans.
Yeah.
In so many instances.
I love this pair of jeans.
It's great.
To me, it underscores the fact that she wants to be like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
To me.
It's very, I appreciate that. As someone who wears the same 4 things every day and cycles them out like a cartoon, I appreciate the consistency.
And I wish that was more... I know that it's more... How do I phrase this? I know that it's like a cool thing on Instagram, right? Of like... But I wish that it was more acceptable, quote unquote, with like famous people.
Sure.
Because I remember seeing, like, when I would go to the grocery store as a kid and seeing, like, on People magazine, celebrities being dragged for wearing something twice.
Right.
And it's like, they're fucking human. Yeah. Like, what are you expecting?
Also, do you just buy something, wear it, and then burn it? What is your life like?
Yeah, like, I remember being younger, and even now, the idea that I have a favorite hoodie and I cannot wear it out in public more than once sounds awful.
No thanks.
Yeah, no thank you. I have a Cramps hoodie. I'm gonna wear it when I want to. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, gosh. Celebrities. They're just like us. I don't get it. Any other K-Student news?
Hell yeah! Pew, 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 pew. Steve.
Tell me more.
We got a piece from MTV News.
Tell me
about
more.
Charlie's Angels, and
I'm hyped.
And basically, I mean, I guess technically this is from Jimmy Kimmel, because the cast are beautiful ladies of Charlie's Angels were on Jimmy Kimmel, looking fabulous, divine, stunning.
Yes,
and they were chatting.
They look great.
Yeah, they were chatting about, like, meeting each other and how it was kind of, like, fun and weird and awkward and great. Especially because K-Stu is a manic mess.
Yes. I love a man letting women talk.
You know, thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you for that.
James? Can I call you James? I appreciate it.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah, and they're just so cute together. They all have such a lovely rapport, and they just seem so, like, good friends. And it makes me very happy.
I am excited to see the movie.
Yeah, also...
I'm not excited to listen to that theme song again. But
it's... Listen, we all make sacrifices, you know? For the people we love.
That's true. Hopefully it just comes up in, like, the end credits. So you can just, like, dip out.
Yeah. Anyway, that's K-Stu's Corner.
Thank you for reporting in, Cody.
Thank you.
I'm just imagining, like, a fucking high school fucking news segment or something.
Yeah. Back to you.
Oh,
now Allie has the weather.
Yes. Ugh. Can you imagine just doing the weather for a high school and it's like, well, in some classrooms it's gonna be hot as fuck because they still have radiators. And others, the AC is blasting. So good luck.
Figure it out.
And also, it's this part of fall where you're gonna be fucking cold in the morning and sweating your ass off in the afternoon. So who's to say? That's all I've got for you, Jim. Back to you, Mr. James Kimmel.
Thank you, Jimbo.
So that's great. Thank you for that. I love having a dual K-Stu corner for the space.
Yeah.
It always makes me happy. Okay, so should we get into you?
Yes. Let's do it.
Yes. Great. We've got kind of a weird section of chapters this week. One that's long, one that's very short.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not even complaining.
Shit.
Because we're, like, finally getting into the end stretch. We've got, like...
Yeah, we're in the home.
We're getting into the... We're, like, so close. And I know I keep saying that, but, like...
For real this
we're
time.
We're gonna get... We have, like, a quarter left of this book, and I'm hoping that it starts to, like, speed through at this point. So, when we left off last time, Joe wanted to kill Dr. Nikki.
Yeah.
So, that's what you missed on.
That's really it.
That's really it.
It's like, fuck this guy, actually.
Yeah, I think the last couple sentences really kind of rounded out of he was still using that like mouse in my house thing, but he was like, no, I don't have a mouse in my house. I have a pig.
Yeah.
The book here. So chapter 39
Woo.
begins with Joe, the murderer,
Yep.
and the creepy dude
Yes.
being close to a public school. My favorite thing. The thing that makes me feel so safe.
Yep.
So comfortable. And here's the thing that confuses me. So this is New York, and the school is called PS 87.
Yes.
Sure.
That's how all the public schools are named. They're named by numbers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. So it's called PS 87, but it's on 78th Street.
Yeah, that I don't know. They don't necessarily correlate with the street names. I think they're just like, I think it's like a district thing. I don't know how they're divided up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I just, as someone who's not good with numbers, right. I looked at that and I was like, wait.
Hold on.
87, 78. I was like, hold on, wait. All right. So Joe is apparently waiting for Dr. Nicky to get out of here. And in order to not blow his cover, he is just jogging around the school, jogging in place, jogging with his phone out, just jogging for several hours.
This guy loves to run, you know?
He says he hates to run, but like everyone I know who runs, he says that and yet continues to run.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? Hey, runners, what the fuck's up with that?
Yeah, are you good?
Y'all good? For real? Like, I have questions is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
Why do you all say you don't like to run, but then you all do it so much?
Yeah.
When I don't like something, well, that's not true. I was gonna say, for a long time I said I hated writing, and then I also tried to like write a book for 2 years during NaNoWriMo, so.
It happens, you know?
Okay. All right. Well, hey,
Checkmate. Try
try not to. Yeah, touche. Got it. I was very interested in your thoughts about his tech experience on Yelp that he mentions at the beginning of this chapter.
Oh, God.
His experiences with Jackie, his sister-in-law.
Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, because like Jack is just like sending, or like he's just looking through Yelp reviews of stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, this public school, best one in the city, baby. And like, this is the best pizza, baby. And it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, the idea that anyone's Facebook page could be considered, quote, bountiful is horrifying to me.
Jesus, that should be a barren wasteland.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yes, that it's creepy to me that he could find out all this information.
Mm-hmm.
That someone's Facebook page and Yelp are like all unlocked and public for him to be able to do this. Right. Which is yikes. But yes, so he's watching Nicky take his kids into the school, and he's all like bitter city, because he's like, nobody held my hand or anybody else's back in my day. And it's like, okay, Joe, like, we get it. Nobody hugged you, okay? Like, we got it. And so then he does a little, like, wave at people, trying to make sure that he all seems normal and all this stuff. And then he continues to follow Nicky around. And the thing that grossed me out about all this is he's like feeling sad for Nicky at part of it, and also just hating on him as well.
Yeah.
Because he's also listening to the tapes throughout the day too, but then he's talking about Nicky's wife Marcia as they go around, and he does a lot of like hating on her about yoga. And In the book version, Beck is not a yoga teacher, right?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. I couldn't remember. And so I was like, that would be super weird if he was just like dunking on her for being a yoga teacher, but then Beck was also one as well.
Right.
Then there's lots of talk about that. He spends quite a bit of time when he's like following them and they're walking, and Nicky's got his head down and all this stuff about how like being married is depressing and stuff like that too. He also seems quite surprised that a therapist also goes to therapy.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. All of the therapists that I have gone to also go to therapy. Like, that has been quite normalized to me.
Yeah.
Which, again, underscores the fact that you've mentioned before that it's like an author thing.
Right. I think there's just a vendetta, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like helping prove his point in his mind that like, oh yeah, of course their marriage is garbage. They're going to couples therapy. They're not happy people. They're not happy together. They don't love each other.
Which, in some cases, couples go for an issue.
Sure. But that's a healthy way of dealing with stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not an indicator of like, oh, it's fucked and marriage is dead and
yeah,
all
I don't
sham.
know that going to therapy means that like it's like this is a last ditch effort. Right. I mean, in the way that I've always viewed it is like you care enough to want to fix something, like
yeah,
and like better yourself, kind of thing. But whatever. That definitely doesn't surprise me that Joe has this viewpoint, I guess.
Yeah.
So lots of Joe viewing Nicky in an attempt to like view himself. And then Joe goes back to his house, his apartment, I guess. Yeah. And that's when like the cop thing happens.
Woo, boy.
And of course, I assume, and I think the audience is meant to assume that it's like, oh good, like the mason jar thing finally is coming back to bite him in the ass.
Right.
Because in the book, or in the TV show, that's what happens.
Right.
Is there's that like, I think it's a PI, if I remember right.
Yeah, he's just like waiting outside like, hey, bucko.
Yeah, it's like a PI that the family, like Peach's family hires, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was reading this, I was like, great. So they followed the TV the TV show followed the book. But of fucking course, that's not what
it's
happens.
A totally separate wild confrontation.
And what is that totally separate wild confrontation?
The cop is Karen Minty's brother. Or relative of some, I think brother, right?
And his brother, yeah.
And so yeah, we get this like internal monologue of Joe being like, oh shit, did I get caught? Like, fuck, this is it, it's over, what do I do? And this cop is like, hey, are you Joe? And Joe's like, fuck, yeah? What do you want? And he's like, what do I want? And there's like a tussle. and he's like very scared of this confrontation. And he's just like, oh god, am I gonna die? Like, this is a weird way to settle this, that I hate this. And then it reveals itself that the cop is Karen Minty's brother, and he's pissed because Joe fucked over Karen Minty. And that's the tiff.
Right.
And then Joe's just like, well, this is better than dying, I guess, or like being arrested.
It was so wild.
Yeah, and out of nowhere.
Completely out of nowhere. And made me care more about Karen Minty when, like, we know that she does not come up again.
Right.
And there were so many, there were so many unnecessary things about this, too. Like, there was, like, the whole, what was that thing he was carrying? The like, stick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what was that called?
Like a baton? Or like...
Yeah, it was. It was like a baton, but like the mean guy kind.
The bad boy baton.
Yeah, it's like but it's like a bad boy baton. What the heck are those called? Because he gets one later. It's like a nightstick.
Yeah,
it's like a bad boy baton. That sounds like a BDSM thing, but for real though, it's like, but I've never really seen a cop actually have one of those before. Yeah. I mean, they might, like, have it in their belt, but I've never actually seen one, like, hold one before. Right. Anyways, but, like, he makes this point of, like, Karen Minty's brother, like, spitting on him, and he, like, backs up, but he doesn't, like, wipe it off his chin or whatever. And anyways, but, yeah, it was this, like, whole thing. And just for it to be that, like, he cares a lot about his sister, which, like, I get. Right. Because Karen mentions, and I think Joe mentions this too, that, like, Karen's family, like, really care about each other. Yeah. Which, making it, in that context, I get it. But, like, okay. Like, it doesn't, she was not going to come up again. Yeah. So, and he does a lot of, like, smashing the concrete and stuff, and it's like, okay, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. But, whatever. So, chapter 40, which, like, holy shit, so many chapters. Chapter 40 starts with Joe being, like, dead set that he is going to kill Nikki. With, like, the only reason being that, one, he's not a good person. Like, he's not a good person. Nope. He's not a good therapist. Mm-hmm. But for the main reason being that he wants to have sex with Beck.
Right. Like, he doesn't really truly care about how bad of a person Nikki is, but those things are helpful in his case that he's bad because he's sleeping with Beck. Like, that. Right. Those are things that help rationalize that in his brain. But not any, like, if he wasn't fucking Becky, would not have, like, a huge problem with this guy, for the most part.
Yes, exactly.
To the point of wanting to kill him, at least.
Yes. So he is, like, dead set on killing him in this point, in the book. And he thinks that the perfect opportunity is going to be that, Nikki goes out once a week to, like, a part of Queens, I guess, that is still having a lot of crime. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, of course, this will be a great opportunity. No one's gonna question if he dies here. It'll be great. It'll be perfect. Right. And this part was just, like, too on the nose. So, like, before he goes out and apparently, like, tries to kill Dr. Nikki, he says, I take a swig of Jack and open the front page of a self-help book called When Bad Things Happen to Good People. You had to buy that book, Joseph. Or at least, like, steal it from your workplace.
The amount of self-pity this man has for himself is truly astounding. It's I'm floored by the lack of self-awareness of this guy.
Yes.
It's comical.
It's a lot.
And also
I will
awful.
say that. Yeah. It's the fact that, especially during and I think that he gets to this part later in this chapter too, but he's talking a lot about, like, it's in this part too where he's like, it makes complete sense. Where is it? Yeah, he's like the father you never had, and you want to break up his family, and that's natural. But, like, Nikki didn't do his job. He's a pig. And, like, you can't be with people like this. He talks about how, like, they're completely self-obsessed, and he says basically, like he's done before with Benji and with Peach, like, he rattles off all the stuff that he is too without understanding and, like, making the connection.
Right.
And it's just gross. And it's, at some point, it's like, you would think that he is able to say it, like, tongue-in-cheek, but it's like, nope, that's just Joseph. Like, he views himself as, like, higher than God.
Yep.
It's just... So he's dead set, like, there's no happy ending, and, like, he even says, like, if he lets Nikki live, Beck thinks she knows what she wants, which is like, ooh, Joseph.
Yeah.
But he is set that, like, Beck doesn't know what she wants, because if Nikki and Beck get together, when that happens, Nikki will stop trying, and as soon as he becomes available, she won't want him anymore.
Right.
So he has to end this. So, and so this is the point.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you are charisma, you are sick, and for some reason you are a magnet for weak, spineless people. And it's like, okay. So he goes behind Nikki and gets, it's called the nightstick, because he went to the Army Navy store and got himself one.
Yeah.
Not bad boy stick, or whatever we called it. Nightstick. But sure. So, as authors ought to do, as soon as he is following Nikki to go and kill him, his phone rings, and lo and behold, it is Beck. And she is, like, whispering, and he makes a point to say that she sounds tipsy, but she makes a demand for him to come over right now, and I wonder why. And so
I need someone to help build my bed.
Exactly. I broke my bed because another person had sex with me on it, and I need you to rebuild it for me. And so he hangs up and throws away the nightstick and heads, like, takes a breather because he was about to literally kill a man, and freaks out because she called. And this is the part where he starts to freak out, because he's like, clearly you're in a better place now. You called me, not him. And it's like, well, okay, Joseph, hold on.
Yeah.
It's like late at night on a school day, I think, because of what you said from earlier. And, you know, she's tipsy and calling you late at night. So, like, we'll see. But that is where chapter 40 ends. So.
Awful.
Yeah, it's not great. So, but we've got chapters 41 and 42 next week. And at that point, we will have less than 10 chapters left. So we are very, very close.
Yes.
We are almost there.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So, we have some patience to thank.
Pew, 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 pew.
We've got some good ones.
We got a new one that we must name.
We do have some good ones here. Let me go ahead and pull up our article for this week, which is a Screen Rant piece.
Thank you, Screen Rant.
Which is a listicle. Shocking, I know. But it is. It was published on the 21st by Hannah Collins, and it is Twilight 10 Hidden Details About Bella's Costume You've Never Noticed.
Ooh.
But we do have a new person that we need to add here. We need a last name for this person.
Yes, we do.
I know we mentioned last time that we had some couple other name suggestions, and I completely forgot what they were.
Yeah, so have I. Fuck.
We
We also don't have to do you, because we have a lot of you names now. So we can do some...
We do.
We can do some 50 Shades names. We can do some Twilight names.
You know, we do kind of have a lack of Twilight names in the space.
Let's get a Twilight name in here.
Because we've only got Weber and Lautner in the space right now.
Ooh, hear me out. Janae Jasper.
Get some alliteration up in here.
Get some alliteration in the space.
Would you like a 2 first name?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off then?
Shout out to Janae Jasper, who's gonna be number 9. Bella's jacket.
I was just looking at that.
Wound up in a court case.
What the fuck?
This is news to me, and you apparently. It says, when Edward gives Bella her first Spidey... Oh god, I don't want to read that. Her first ride around Forks Woods, you know, one of those classic date activities, she could be seen spotting a BB Dakota jacket. Keen to capitalize, the brand began marketing the item as the Bella Swan jacket. And apparently Summit was like, you can't do that. And then they had a lawsuit, and Summit won in 2011.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Kelly Beck.
Ow!
Who's gonna be... her color palette adapts to the Cullens, which is number 4.
Wow.
So Forks isn't exactly a bright and sunny place, perfect for vampires, but a big change for Bella, who was used to the dry heat of Phoenix, Arizona. And so the Twilight costume designer, Wendy Chuck, reflected this contrast in Bella's wardrobe, which we notice later into the first movie. But I loved that. I loved noticing that. That's cool.
Shout out to Sophia Salinger, who's gonna be... Bella's wedding dress nearly got ruined because they filmed in Oregon and Washington. Apparently the rain and the paint on the set fucked up the jacket, fucked up the bottom of the dress, so they had to cut to close-ups for a lot of the scene.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay. Shout out to Erin Salinger, who is gonna be number 6, which I knew this one because I watched the behind the scenes ones.
Oh my gosh.
The dress was designed by Carolina Herrera. So the real dress, not the nightmare dress, was designed by Carolina Herrera, who you might know for designing the first lady dresses, like Michelle Obama.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Was that Erin Salinger?
I just did Erin Salinger.
That's what I asked.
I told you it's confusing.
Shout out to Alex Blythe.
I told you, Alex Blythe. It's a hard one.
Who's gonna be... Bella's hair in Eclipse was a wig, which we knew, but it is
oh shit
very funny, because she had to do the Runaways, and she couldn't be. Yes. I mean, she could be Bella with the Runaways hair, but Summit's full of cowards, and they didn't do it
because they're all fake fans.
Fake fans.
All right, this one would only be appropriate for Taylor Brown Town. Long.
Yes.
Who's gonna be number 5? K-Stu didn't like the lacy underwear.
Ooh.
Rarely has Bella looked so uncomfortable than attempting to woo her husband in Breaking Dawn Part 1. So, not a lot of acting went into those scenes.
Yeah.
In the lingerie moments.
Yeah. Shout out to Katie Weber. Who's gonna be... Bella's new moon clothes reflect the love triangle. Which basically just means, what they're saying here is that she dresses like a slob because she's a wreck emotionally in New Moon.
Me.
Which is great. But also earth tones. We love an earth tone moment.
We love a moment. Okay. And this one relates to our last person, yoked to the gods, Simon Steele.
Stop.
Which is number 2. Which is number 2. Everyone wanted to look like her.
Ooh.
Though Bella's style was consistent of the down-to-earth variety, matching her grounded personality. As a teenage girl, she wasn't immune to following the trends of the late 2000s, and Twihards certainly took note. AKA, everyone was following her style. Yeah. AKA me. So.
Hell yeah, baby.
I get it.
Yeah.
So, what I've got for you today.
Yes.
Is referencing a little bit of what we've talked about here.
Oh.
As far as some hidden details, as far as some...
Why are you being so cryptic right now?
No, fuck you, first of all.
No, fuck
you! As far as some audience feedback, things like that.
Okay.
So, what I've pulled for you is a little bit different than what we've done before.
Okay.
And what it is what it is I have pulled, now, remember that we just talked recently, right, about some Yelp reviews, right?
You are being so fucking weird right now.
No, you're being weird. Stop. So,
it's the weirdest.
What I did...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, stop. Stop. You're being weird. You're being weird. So what I did is I found something in Forks, and I pulled up some Google reviews of that I'm going to read to you today.
Okay, great.
And what I pulled up to review for you today is the Twilight Tours in Forks destination, aka the place in Forks that has Bella's truck.
Yeah.
And, like, the gift shop.
Right.
So first,
okay.
I am going to read one of the 2-star reviews for you.
Thank you.
This is from 2 years ago. From a local guide that has 27 other reviews in Google. I will not name them for their respect. Okay. They said... of the Twilight Tours in Forks, which is for your information on 130 Spartan Avenue, Forks, Washington. I've gone there several times. If you're not aware, patrons, there's a lot of photography.
There's some good content in there.
Okay, this is one of the 2-star reviews. Not so great at all. I'm not a fan of the movie myself. My GF is... and none of the attractions look like the way they made them in the movie. Jacob's house was the only cool thing to see. So, damn.
Got him.
All right. And then this is one of the other ones that I really like. This is a 3-star review.
Okay.
This is from another local guide, whom I will not name, but it is from a year ago. This is bolded. Sharing this based on what I heard from my friends who are Twilight lovers. Book readers can feel and relate to instances here. However, series watchers may need to go without any expectations. I would recommend to see other reviews before starting your journey if you are traveling from a distance. Have a visit to La Push, 30 minutes away from this place, for a nice shore and nature experience. And then, if you would like the highest review, it's... from
me.
3 days ago. It's from me. It's from me. It's from 3 days ago. 5 stars. Loved this place. Just needs more.
How is that 5 stars?
I don't know.
If it's 5 stars, there should be no improvement.
I don't know.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So that is the Twilight Tours in Forks.
Yeah.
Where you can find Bella's truck.
Hell yeah.
And also all of the OG, the OG postcards that I sent out to folks.
Hell yeah.
So, just a little something to switch it up.
Yeah.
Since our unofficial intern has not sent me any fanfics in a really long time.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah. And all the other things that I keep finding on fanfic.net and stuff have sex in them, and that's just, like, so inappropriate.
This is a Christian space.
This
is a God-honoring space.
Speaking of which, as we say in Sia.
Get it.
And get wet.
For Jesus. This is an Earbud Media production. You can find us on Twitter at Earbud Media and listen to the rest of our shows. You can find this show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, as well as intothetwilight.show. You can send us an email at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can also become a sponsor of the show or buy some merch at intothetwilight.bigcartel.com. Our art is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at YourGhostHost44 on Instagram, and our music is done by Eli Krause, you can find at Eli Sauerkraus and KrausFilms.com. The intro and outro is by KB Smith, who you can find at KB__Smith on Twitter. You can find Allie on Twitter at Into Wild Places, and you can find me at Dyke Discourse.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.